Morning guys, Velvet Hammer here. Today, or this morning I should say, we are going to do a little work on my latest purchase off eBay. I've got a National Detroit 900 Mud Hog, and I'll show it to you guys right here. This guy right here. I got this one on eBay earlier this summer, and I plugged it in when I got it, and it ran pretty good. But I started to test it out a little bit, and it's a little sluggish. So I tore it apart and checked. It wasn't making a lot of noise or anything, so I didn't think the bearings were bad. But I did take it all apart. I cleaned it up, and I noticed that that the rotor vanes in the air motor on it were worn down pretty bad, and they'd bind up every once in a while. So I've got some new ones here. And those are what give you your pneumatic motor power. So I'm going to show you guys how to tear this thing apart. Like I said, I have had this apart one other time, and I was going to video it, and I started to, but it was such a pain in the ass because everything had been together for so long, and most body guys do not oil their air tools. I don't want to say all. I used to oil mine, but you got to take the handle off here, which I already pre-loosened some of these fasteners just so I could do it a little faster. And then these screws on the side that hold the cover on, you got to take those off without losing the screws. I did have to put a new pad on it, but I only gave like $70 for this on eBay, and this Mud Hog new is roughly a $300 tool, whether you buy it at the store or buy it online or what have you. Sometimes that can be a pain in the ass. Normally we just slide off, but there we go. And it's got a little foam thing in the top, so where the exhaust comes out, if you do oil it, it collects that in that little foam. We've got those 4 screws on top. We've got to take those out in order to gain access to the rotor itself. The first time I took this apart, this thing did not want to come apart at all, even with all the screws out, and thought I was missing things, and just happened to be rusted together that bad. And when you don't oil them and you have moisture in the airlines, it'll rust that stuff together pretty good. The bearings were a real treat to get off the shaft. Ended up having to polish it up and get those to go back on. And I did oil the bearings a little bit. I cleaned them out with some brake clean. So the bearings run really sweet now. Well, let's see if I can get this thing apart without getting too crazy here. This cover is indexed, so it will only go on like 2 ways. One way is the right way and one way is the wrong way, just like everything. I may have to get a pair of channel locks. I'll be right back. Make sure I'm doing this the right way. I've had it apart, like I said, 2 other times, and that should come off rather easily. But like I said, there's 2 I guess indexing pins that keep this thing where it's supposed to be. Originally, when I took this apart, this did not work out this way. Okay, now there are a couple of shims on this bearing plate. Which I've just put back down on there so I don't lose them. And the way that I took this apart, the exhausts for this face on the opposite side of the airflow control valve here. So remember that. Actually, I'm going to take that shim back off because I have to turn this upside down. To get those rotor vanes out. So, I don't know if you guys can see, each one of those slots has a rotor vane in it. So I'm going to turn this upside down and knock those out, and we'll put the new ones in. Maybe it'll be that easy, maybe it won't. Or I could just do that. And we can look at one of these as compared to the new one. The dark one is the old one, and the light colored is the new one, and look at the size difference. That's a huge difference. And what was happening is, if you look at the cover here, the two air exhaust holes, see how tiny the tip of that is? That was actually falling in those and binding up. It's just worn out. That's all it is. Even had one of them in backwards. Beautiful. Okay, so you can see how nice that thing spins. So what we're going to do is basically this notch on the bottom here, I don't know if you guys can see that, that faces that screw on the bottom of this. So we're going to put this back on. And we're going to drop these in. Now you can also see that one side of this is half mooned and the other side is straight. The straight side faces outward. The half moon side faces inward. Now, there are some notches in these. I don't know that that really makes any difference which direction those notches face. I believe they are the same width both directions. Yeah, those rotors are identical both directions. So okay, so there's all 5 of these. I forgot how many it had, so I bought enough to do this twice if this ever wears out again. It only takes 5, so I think I bought a dozen of these. or I bought it. What did I do? I'm not quite sure here. How many extra do I have? 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we've got 7 left. I thought it took 6, but it only takes 5. So we have extras. Now I'll put the shims back on here. I think I want the smaller shim on the bottom there. I'll find a razor blade and pick that shim back off. There's a razor blade. Alright, we're going to put the small one down here. Big one on top. Now you can order shim kits for these, but I don't really know how to shim it. It seemed to be okay before, so. A little wiggling around, a little tap, and you can put the screws back in it, and that should be, notice I say should be, all there is to it. There's no gasket. That's a machine fit in between that top of the case for the rotor motor and its top. Oh, I'm not awake. I didn't get my Dunkin' coffee this morning. And it spins fine, so we know we got that back on right. Check these screws one more time. Okay, put the cover back on. And hopefully that does the trick with this machine. We had pretty heavy frost this morning, so 8 o'clock here, I can't really go out and get any work done. Nor do I want to. I don't have a lot to do today, but I have enough. Okay, put the handle back on. I know the lighting isn't the greatest in here, guys, but I'll try and give you guys a little something here if you've got one of these machines. And this information would apply to the DAs and things like that too, the ones that are rebuildable. This is the first one I've ever had apart, but I make the assumption that a pneumatic motor for one of these sanders is pretty much the same across the board if you don't put the handle on upside down. Let's try this again, take 2. Flip the handle over the correct direction. There we go. Alright, I'll go out and test it. And we've got 15.5 minutes in this, is all it's been taken so far. I'll get you guys set up here, sorry for the shaky cam. Go turn the air on. Oh, turn the air up. Really? Maybe I didn't get it on the first shot. Never mind. We're going to give that a little shot of lube and see if that helps out a little bit. Like I was saying, guys, most people do not lubricate their air sanders for body work, but oh, that's set a little high. Let's turn it down. So, I think that's probably all there is to it. Seems to be running good now. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Just a little quickie how-to, or at least how I believe that's supposed to go. And we'll catch you on the next one. It's time to go to work. See ya.